In this video, we are going to go over something called finding the percent of change. What is that? Well, let's take a look. The percent of change is the amount that some quantity, something has changed, divided out of the original amount. It makes sense that we're getting a percentage from this because what you're literally doing is you're saying how much has something gone up or down by, and then let's compare that out of what that amount was originally. For instance, if the temperature goes up from 3 degrees, well, maybe not 3 degrees, let's go up from 60 degrees all the way up to 90 degrees, a nice warm day. Then the amount that it has gone up is 30 out of the 60 that it originally was. So out of the 60 degrees that we had, the increase amount is half of that 60 or 50%. So percent of change, very cool stuff, and we use it a lot in this world, for instance in temperature. One other note, if the change is more than 0, meaning the amount that we start with goes up to the amount that we end with, then we consider that to be a percent increase because the amount has increased, right? And if the change is less than 0, meaning that the amount we started with then goes down to the ending amount, then we call that a decrease or a percent decrease. Without any further ado, let's solve some of these problems, shall we? We shall. So what we have here is find each percent of change. And you're also going to be asked to clarify whether or not the percent of change is an increase or a decrease. Let's roll. So we've got that we've gone down from $97 to $73. So right from the onset, you know this is a percent decrease problem or percent of decrease. So we literally find the amount of change by subtracting 97 minus 73. So here's the change, 97 minus 73. That's how much we've changed by, and that equals to 24. So that's our change. We're going to take that amount and divide it out of the original amount. So that would then be 24 out of 97. So I like to do these in individual parts. Some teachers teach it, take all of this number and put it directly over 97. So some people will do it this way. Either way works for me. I like to do it in pieces. It makes more sense to me. 24 divided by 97 as a decimal is 0.2474. Let's say we want to round that to the nearest tenth of a percent. So again, we move our decimal point once, twice to the right, and that's going to be 24 point, if we're doing nearest tenth of a percent, be 0.7, because that's a 4, so we round down. So 24.7%, and that would be a decrease. So 24.7% decrease. On to part B. We go from 18 inches to 27 inches. So note, this is an amount going up from the original amount. So this will be an increase. So to find the change, we do 27 minus 18, and that is equal to 9 inches. So we've gone up 9 inches. We then compare that change to the original amount to see out of the original amount what percentage have we gone up by. 9 out of 18 as a decimal is a nice decimal. Of course, it's 0.5. And if you write that as 0.50, you'll see that as 50 hundredths, or moving the decimal place 1, 2 places to the right, you'll get this as 50%. And we could write down increase. Here, I guess you could write down DECR for decrease. Okay, 2 more problems. This next one here, we've got 4.2 to 9.8. So our change again is positive. We're going up in the positive direction. And so that is going to be 9.8 minus 4.2, which is equal to 5.6. Sweet. So we've got an increase of 5.6, whatever the units are, but we want the percent. So we will divide 5.6 by 4.2. Notice here that the amount that we've changed exceeds or is over more than the original amount. So expect to have a decimal that, well, percent that is more than 100% because we've gone and changed more than what we originally had by. So 5.6 divided by 4.2, I've got that one calculated off the screen over here, is 1.333, and it just keeps on going actually. So how do we then figure this guy out? Well, as a percent, again, move the decimal point 2 places to the right, you get 133.3% rounded to the nearest tenth. And that would be an increase. Again, because we went up from 4.2 to 9.8. Last but certainly not least, peeps, we've got 50 points down to 28 points. So that would be a decrease. Note that up here. So 50 minus 28, that will find you the amount that you have gone down by, and that is 22 points. And then we're going to compare that to the original amount. So it's 22 points that we have decreased out of the original will tell us how much our percent of change is. And 22 divided by 50 is actually a very nice decimal. It's 0.44. And so that's the exact number. And so as a percentage, that's 44 hundredths, or just move the decimal point 2 places to the right. And remember, we went down, so it's a 44%, a decrease. That's it, peeps. To find percent of change, all you need to do is find the amount that you've changed by, whether it's gone up or down, and then divide that number by the original amount, because you're comparing the amount you've changed out of the amount that you started with. Awesome stuff.